welcome to Quick Looks with the Casual Hour. I'm Johnny, with Bobby. Hi, Bobby.
What's up, Johnny?
Bobby, we're going to be taking a look at a little game called Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
I don't think this is little.
It's not. It is anything but little.
Okay.
It is a gargantuan JRPG made by Monolith Soft. It came out, about a month or two ago?
July 29th.
On the Switch. Yeah, so you and I have both been playing it. I think I'm a little bit farther than you are, and
yes,
we're actually going to pick up in my game, which is a little bit further along.
Nice.
But I thought this would... Yeah, go ahead.
You've been putting quite a bit of time in with this. I've been trying to keep up. This is my first Xenoblade game. You've played the sequel, you played the second one and now the third one, right?
I played the first game when
got it.
They put out a remaster on the Switch, and so I put a little bit of time into that.
Nice.
But I played more of this one than I did of that game.
Okay.
And so these games are extremely JRPG.
Yeah, they are big ass JRPGs.
In, I think, the best way possible.
Sure.
So, like any good RPG, you have, this very wide range of characters who maybe come from different backgrounds, and they need to join together and fight some larger force of evil. And these games are known for their very spectacular worlds. So, despite running on aging hardware like the Switch, I think they do a pretty good job of, making you feel like you're exploring this vast, majestic sort of world.
I will say, in comparison to some more recent open world games that have been Switch exclusives, this one is a bit more full. Like there's more than two trees here, which is a good step forward for an open world Switch game. You can see a little bit more of the texture pop on those mountains there. The grass is just not... again, there's a decent amount to it. While you're hopping into battle here, Johnny, I'm going to talk a bit about what's going on. I found... So this is a game that runs off of cooldowns. It's not a turn-based JRPG. It is more of an active battler. Johnny is currently playing as... Which character do you have pulled up here?
I'm playing as Noah.
Okay. Noah's like the main character, correct?
Yeah, he's the main protagonist that you start as, but you can swap to any other character in your party.
Nice.
And as you're saying, the combat is all based on cooldowns. You auto attack, but you can use one of the special skills that are assigned to B, Y, and X, and then you have a special move on A that you're building up a meter toward, and you can see it go up a little bit with each attack. You also can switch jobs.
Oh, neat.
And if you noticed, Mio just used a move that was from a class that is not the one that she's using currently. So once you switch classes, you gain the ability to assign skills to basically the D-pad. So if there's a move that you really like from a class that you're no longer playing as, you can potentially assign that and make it available to you.
And there's some pretty nasty things that start to happen when you get into a good flow state with this. So you saw the trajectories that were happening in the battle, where there was some circles being put on the map where, hey, if you stand in this circle, you're going to get a defensive boost. This is going to be an offensive boost. But there's also a series of combos that you can do that rely on different move inputs. And so there's some synergies that you can create with your partners there. But as Johnny was calling out, you might have retained memory of certain move types that you can then execute in conjunction with your current class that just will you can basically knock down and stall out the enemy and do some massive damage to it. And there's also going to be boosts that you'll get based off of your proximity and placement. Certain things are going to be more back damage if you attack from the side. So there's some pretty interesting strategies. Even though it's an auto battler to a degree, there are some interesting things that start to happen when you bring this all together, and it is, I'll call it out, to me, pretty fucking dense to understand.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
But I think once you understand it, it starts to click. But it is for me. It is and has been hard to penetrate to understand how all this works together, because there's a lot of systems.
Yeah, and I think they do a good job of tutorializing that. And I'm like almost 20 hours in, and there have still been new things that it's been teaching me how to do. Oh, I just hit a cutscene.
How do you feel the writing and just the overall character development has been in the game so far?
I mean, it's very tropey.
Yeah.
But not in a way that I find grating. I think I find a lot of the characters, like there's an earnestness to the story that they're telling that I enjoy.
Just brings me back a bit.
And I don't even know. I don't remember what is happening here. But yeah, you'll have little moments like this because these 6 people, like 3 of them belong to warring factions, and through events in the game,
I know that, but
I've never skip this. There we go.
One in such full bloom before.
They come together and they have to work together as a team to, maybe overthrow this never-ending war that is happening. That's the whole story. Is like there are these 2 groups that have always been at war with each other, and you're all soldiers who have a 10-year lifespan. And you're once your lifespan is up, then your spirit charges the flame clock. I think it's very, very JRPG. Like there's a lot going on. And this, what I'm doing right now, is called the Ouroboros. So eventually, in the game, you get the ability to fuse with your other party members.
Naturally.
And you go into this special form that has its own unique skills and deals out a bit more damage than just your regular attacks. And that is, as you can see on the left there, it's on a timer.
Does that kick up like an alt does? Like, do you have to like put stuff into that meter before you can execute it? So it's on a cooldown. Okay, yeah, I just unlocked that ability. I haven't explored it too much in my playthrough, but it was really cool to see what they've done with it and how they brought it into to be a thing.
It's something that, like, generally speaking, I will activate it as soon as I can in battle.
No matter who you're fighting.
Yeah, like if I'm just out, trying to grind a little bit. Oh man, this thing's messing me up.
Yeah, it's pretty big. That's the other thing too, is that like I found the delicacy in your team dynamic. If you get like 1 or 2 of your team members knocked down in battle, like you can see here this cascading effect happening to you right now.
Yeah,
it goes quick.
It does, but there's no huge penalty. It respawns you basically where you died.
And you can see that they do the whole thing where there's significant levels around your character. You're going to notice that you might come across things with a skull on it, like, hey, you're not ready for it. And there's some big fucking creatures just roaming around here that are pretty fascinating to see. There's also, they do a pretty good job of bringing in variations of it. So I can't remember the exact wording that they use for this, but there's 3 types of the same enemy that you can encounter. So you could be up against the level 24. In this case, that might be more on par with what your level is, but you might find more of like a rare version of it, or I can't remember the exact words they're using. You'll get more rewards for it.
Yeah,
more XP.
It's almost like a unique version of that monster.
Yeah, totally.
You'll also see 2 groups of enemies battling with each other, and you can choose to side with one or the other.
Yeah.
And depending on who you side with, you'll get a certain type of reward. And after we finish this battle here, I'll go into the menus and show those off a little bit.
Did you find, or have you found, and there's not really a good way to bring this up without it sound like a slight, I don't mean for it to, but there is a lot of the same stuff happening pretty repetitively in this game. And that's, JRPGs. You're not really doing a whole lot for your social links right now. Like, have you found like this is a hard game to put like significant time into at a moment? Because I do feel like it's easy to get lost if you haven't picked it up regularly, but I also feel in the same hand it can be a bit draining for longer play sessions because it is a bit monotonous or same in that regard.
I think once you get further into it, and you get the ability to, so these factions that you're going through and freeing, you have like a social standing with them, and so the more side quests and ways that you help that faction will affect things in game. Let's take a look at the menu here. But I think if you could hop in here and just run around the world for a bit and maybe grind a couple levels if you don't have time to go through some story stuff. And
so one of the things that I'll call out too while you're pulling this up, it looks like what Johnny's got here is the class pulled up. I'm sure he's going to talk about it in just a second, but that's all kind of determined based off of outfit. So there are other clothes you can get, but I found that like each job type has its own unique look. So
and you can change your outfit to be whatever you want. But yeah, each one will have its own specific kind of look. And as you can see here, I've reached level 10 in this class. So now, if I wanted to, I could switch to like the ogre, which is more of an attacker. Well, this one's also an attacker. But I could also play as a healer for a little bit. And I try and have at least like 2 healers, and then like more of a tanky character, and then a couple of attackers.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But it really lets you just like tweak it however you want, which I think is cool. And as you progress, you'll meet different heroes, and those heroes will give you classes that you can unlock.
Oh, awesome!
And apply to your other characters. So
and
once
you can play as them, or are they just more like
they're in your party for certain parts of the game, and they will stick with you and like fight enemies and stuff with you. And then once you finish their story chunk, then you just have their class available to you to use. So this Flash Fencer class that I was playing as was originally from this hero here.
Got it.
I don't remember her name, but she's the first one that you meet, whose class you can take on. And yeah, the arts are going to be like the abilities you're using in battle, and as you can see, like you have ones that you can assign to your special, just your normal attacks, and then you have these other attacks I mentioned that are from classes that you are no longer playing as.
Got it.
So it like there's innumerable number of combinations and things that you can do, and I am sure there's like a way to like min-max and really make it the most effective way to have things laid out. I haven't delved too deeply into it. I've just been kind of going by feel. I'll switch classes around a little bit, see how it feels. If I feel like I'm getting my ass kicked in combat a little bit more, I'll go back and I'll tweak it again. But if you are someone who likes this kind of stuff, like
there's a lot to unpack.
There's a lot here. Like there's so much variety. All the weapons and classes feel unique. So even though, let's see, where is he? Lance. So he's playing as a war medic. And the arts that he has are going to be different than what Uni would have as a tactician, even though they're both healer classes.
They do a good job. They really do. Like, it's hard to retain it. It happens pretty quick, but they do put you through your paces to learn how to do this. They kind of force some of this in the onboarding of the game. But again, there's just so much to unpack. And they do front load it. So there's a lot. And it can be really intimidating and daunting. And I think that from what you shared and what a couple friends of the show have shared with us, if you make it through some of those endeavors early on in the game, you kind of fall into a flow state with it that feels really good. It's just a lot to take on at the beginning.
Yeah.
That's JRPGs in general, though.
Yeah, absolutely. In most RPGs, like, you're getting side quests galore that you can engage with as much or as little as you want. I haven't felt like I needed to grind a lot of that stuff out. I felt just by doing as much as I feel like doing, I've been able to stay, on par with the enemies that I'm encountering as I progress through the story.
Nice. Let's go take a quick look at a little bit more, like maybe one more battle or so, and then we can wrap it up here, because again, we're not going to get too deep into it.
We're not going to be able to cover everything.
Battles are engaged just by walking up, usually, right? And you can start to attack. Sometimes you'll be auto attacked here. So you get your Ouroboros out, as he called out. That timer's going. That is Uni and who is it? Tyon in that form?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, Uni and Tyon, who both start as healing classes. So it does kind of go off of like what their role was in the party whenever you first meet these characters, because everyone is like set to a specific class when you first start the game.
Yeah.
And you can also start battles by drawing your weapon, which is A. So if it's a monster that isn't going to attack you unless you provoke it, that is one way that you can start the battle with it.
Can you go into one of those circles real quick so we can see if it's popping up? There's like that blue one that you're in. That is a defensive circle. So as Johnny's in that circle, he's getting a defensive boost. You'll also see like how you can pull aggro with the tank class. There's literal moves that will focus that to where you can then switch over, get around, and do. It's playing the roles, and I think that's an important thing to call. Like if you're playing as a healer, like you need to focus on that. The game does a pretty good job with the AI to fill in the gaps for you as well, but it's one of those things where you need to play the job that you have 100%.
Yeah, for sure. And I know we did not cover nearly everything that's happening in this game, but I would say if you're a fan of RPGs, if you're a fan of JRPGs, and you have a Switch, I think this is absolutely worth your time. I think it's one of the better JRPGs I played in a few years, and I really like it a whole lot, and I would like to finish it before we get to like Game of the Year time.
It's a big fucking ask. It's a big game.
Because this is 100+ hours of time, but
a lot of value for $60.
Yeah, absolutely.
$60 game, Switch exclusive. Came out July 29th. I will call out now as we're wrapping this up. They have planned waves of DLC from an expansion pass, and we're not too far off. Actually, less than a month at the time of recording. October 13th, you'll get a wave of DLC containing a challenge battle mode against difficult enemies, a new hero character, and accompanying quest. In the most recent Nintendo Direct, they showed that off. It looks like a robot girl that you get to play as.
Yeah.
And they're bringing in swimsuits because it would not be a JRPG without swimsuits.
It would not.
So this rainy, mountainous region is not anything without a bikini-clad team taking on dinosaurs. So all that to come here very soon. There's going to be, it looks like addition of, that you can buy this stuff just as like paid DLC, but they've got a couple things planned in the hopper here for the expansion pass.
John, if I can get through the main game,
maybe we'll play bikinis.
I might pick that expansion pass up.
Well, as we wrap up here, we are the Casual Hour. We do quick looks like this twice a week right here on YouTube. So like, subscribe, follow where you can. We usually post them about 10 a.m. Central. We also record videos demands from our Twitch streams, which happen on Mondays and Friday nights. Twitch.tv/Casual Hour. We play games like the one you're watching right now on Friday nights. Chase, our other co-host, usually joins me on Mondays, and we'll do more turn-based strategy, card deck builders, that sort of thing. And then we record our podcast live, of course, and publish that everywhere that you listen to podcasts every Friday morning. So get in where you fit in here with the Casual Hour. We do a lot of fun stuff. We'd love to have you hang out with us. Johnny, thank you for this quick look at Xenoblade. This is a fun game. Go out there and explore more of it and learn about its mysteries on your own. And we will be back with more quick looks from the casual hour in the future. Thanks for tuning in, everybody.